Beware of secret documents. You often see postings on the internet that suggest, "Shh, I received some top secret information," or it says, "Breaking news, Court XYZ convicts famous person XYZ." Such misleading stories often quote from supposedly secret documents or allegedly exclusive files. These kinds of false news can deceive you because they falsely claim to be authentic. The postings pretend to have a real source, and as many people as possible should share and spread the claim as quickly as possible. But don't let that first impression fool you. Two questions here are often relevant. Does the document the posting refers to even exist? And if the document does exist, is it then correctly quoted from? One example. Here it says that the International Tribunal into Crimes of Church and State has sentenced the Pope, the British Queen, and others to prison. This does sound spectacular. There is, however, no International Tribunal into Crimes of Church and State. It's a made-up court. Therefore, the document itself is also fabrication. A court that only exists in somebody's fantasy can't make a legal judgment. Do note, there's a real court that has a similar name, which is the International Criminal Court in The Hague. But in such cases, it pays to look closely. Does the source really exist, or did somebody made up an institution that sounds like a real one? Fantasy documents such as this one keep making the rounds. It's a quick job to make a fake logo too. Then there's a second problem. Often somebody quotes a document that really exists, but then it's misinterpreted completely and hyped. At the beginning of the corona pandemic, a user made the claim that he received explosive documents, possibly a secret government plan. This created the impression that the German federal government could have known about the pandemic in 2012. Might the pandemic be a huge conspiracy? This is of course nonsense. In this case, the document that is quoted from does exist, but the document itself is harmless. It's also not secret, but can be found on German Parliament's website. So the answer is no. The document mentioned here is completely harmless. This blogger has not found a secret document. Actually, it's a PDF that anyone can download from the website of the German Parliament, so it's openly accessible on the internet. The only thing this document shows is that the German federal government commissioned a study in 2012 that looked into the risks of different catastrophic scenarios. So for example, the likelihood of a major flood or a pandemic. Actually, it's a good thing that countries try to prepare for worst-case scenarios. So the document is harmless, but it's being sensationalized. So it's made into something that it actually isn't. This kind of misinformation works because you can be sure that many people will never look at the original source. The most simple approach to find out, has a professional fact-checking website already investigated the case? You can use search engines to do a focused search for fact checks, for example by entering the most important keywords from the posting and then adding the phrase fact check. For example, Bundesregierung Geheimplan, Corona 2012, Faktencheck. At a first glance, somebody quoting from official documents seems impressive, but don't let that first impression fool you. It's very easy to imitate official-sounding papers or just wrongly quote from real documents. The more explosive such a claim is, the more skeptically you should look at it and, for example, question the original source.